Hey guys, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. We're jumping on YouTube live here for a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued moments ago. And this is for a severe thunderstorm warning that's for southwestern Williamson County from a storm back over Hickman County. Now, we have that storm with the polygon on it that you can see there south of Fairview in the southwestern, fairly rural area of Williamson County. But we also have this storm coming through southwestern Davidson and western Williamson County that also has the possibility of having some strong gusty winds with it. Look at the velocities here. This is on the National Weather Service radar out of Old Hickory looking back to the southwest. And the Weather Service radar here is reading winds of about 1,700 feet at about 80 miles an hour. All right, so whether these winds are reaching the surface or not, we don't really know exactly. But I can tell you, based on looking at some cameras out there in different parts of town as the storms come through, the winds are really howling, okay? So while we do have a severe thunderstorm warning polygon back to the southwest, that includes areas south of Fairview and then southwest of 840 out there towards Smarten, Greenbrier, Pinewood Road, Garrison Springs, areas like that, Craigfield. And we also have this tornado warning back to the west of us, back around in Dickson County, Perry County, and Hickman County. Really, the strongest thing that I see on radar right now are these strong straight line winds there from Pasco and Bellevue down to Fairview, Natchez Trace, down around Big East Fork Road there in Williamson County. So that's the strongest thing that I see on radar right now in either of our two counties. And actually, I'd like let's go over and look at TBNA. TBNA is the radar over in Nolansville, the FAA radar, and it's reading very similar readings. These are winds at about 67 miles an hour, and even a little higher, up around 70 miles per hour, up at around 1,000 feet. So winds are screaming out there in western Williamson County. So that's what we're watching. All right, let's zoom out a little bit, and let's see what we have going on out there now. Let me make sure I am live. I think I am. Yeah, okay. So let's zoom out a little bit. We're looking at TBNA here on radar, and let me turn the velocities off. And back to the west, you see two polygons. You see a tornado warning polygon, and you see a severe thunderstorm warning polygon. And one of those covers us. That's the severe thunderstorm warning polygon there south of Fairview. We are not yet included in a tornado warning. So that is back to the west, but it's not by much. So we're going to keep an eye on that as it moves to the east. So let me turn velocities back on now from TBNA. And you can see that these straight line winds, at least aloft, about 1,000 feet over our heads, they're just screaming. They're going at about 60 to 70 miles per hour there, southwest of Brentwood and coming into Bellevue. So we're going to keep an eye on that. All right, so we have a lot going on. We're getting a lot of messages. We're getting a lot of the three of us, David and Will and I, are talking a lot. Over to my right, I've got one of our interns, Elin. He's helping me out, just kind of making sure we're not missing a whole lot. So Elin's sitting over here, and we just kind of have a lot happening. So we're gonna make sure that we're covering this as best we can as it comes in. Let's go back over to traditional radar and look and see how it looks based on just the colors here that you're used to seeing. And so we got storms up around Gallatin, and we're watching those on our Gallatin camera off screen over here, and looks pretty gnarly, but haven't seen anything up there that's super crazy yet. And then we are sorry for all my notifications. We're getting there's a lot of conversation going on over here. So let me turn those down just a little bit. All right, so we got that storm up in Gallatin. That is right there. We've got storm stretching down through Davidson County, through Brentwood, and through western Williamson County. So looks like the tornado warning has gone away in Dickson County and Humphreys and Hickman. I think I said Perry earlier, but it was covering Humphreys, Hickman, and Dickson. And that has gone away. And so that's good news. So all that remains at the moment is a severe thunderstorm warning for Hickman and western Williamson counties and northwestern Murray. And so that's for this storm. Let me show you what it's for. It's for this storm back here in west of Centerville. and in western Hickman County. And that storm is, it's acting like it might rotate a little bit. Several of the storms have done that today. Go back in time, you see that tornado warning polygon. But you can kind of see some rotation. The red there is not accurate. That's a radar anomaly. But it is loosely rotating there in western Hickman County, as to be expected today. We're expecting that. So we'll watch that as it moves closer. But the severe thunderstorm warning is for this cell back here west of Centerville, right there. All right, now, what's going on here now, I look and I see several of you have joined in the last little bit. What we're looking at now, though, in Davidson and Williamson is just some screaming winds up above our heads. So this is like around Temple Hills, Laurelbrook, Horseshoe Bend, Edwin Warner Park, out there in those hills out there where the parks are, like the tops of those hills and a little bit above, so like 1,300, 1,400 feet above the ground. Radar is indicating winds around 70 miles per hour. All right, so these winds aren't messing around even outside the warnings. You get some heavy rain coming through, and some of these real high winds aloft can be brought down to the ground. So not a warning for that right now, but radar is indicating that that's pretty strong, and it's possible that could be reaching down toward the ground. So we'd love to have your reports. And so if you... Yeah, in fact, we're getting reports from Oak Hill. In fact, let me go over to the Oak Hill camera. Reports from Oak Hill that winds are screaming there with the rain and really blowing hard. So this is the Oak Hill camera there looking south, and we have another one looking north, but we're going to pay attention to the south one for a while. So somebody there in Oak Hill said that winds were screaming pretty good. So if you have a report to send us, if you could use hashtag T-Spotter in a tweet, and that would be fantastic, okay? So send us what you are seeing, if you're seeing something severe, if you're seeing trees down, if you're seeing anything like that. If you can safely send us a report, that would be great. We would love to know about that. Look at the structure on that storm. It just kind of looks a little bit ominous there in Oak Hill. And see the trees moving there in the foreground just a little bit. So it looks like it is blowing there. I'm going to go check the north camera. There's the north camera looking right there next to the south camera, but it kind of picks up where it leaves off to the north. And one thing that I watched there is just to the left of that building, there's a giant hackberry tree, and that's kind of a good indication of what the winds are doing there in Oak Hill. So we'll be watching that. But let me go back over to the Weather Service radar here in southern Davidson County, northwestern Hickman County. And you notice we are here because of the severe thunderstorm warning down to the south for the storm over Hickman County. And it's looking fairly healthy right now. We're going to keep an eye on that, but we're also watching these really, really strong winds that are coming through, at least aloft, Laurelbrook, Sunnyside, Grassland, Temple Hills, Horseshoe Bend, Otter Creek, Forest Hills, Tyne Boulevard. Now, this is moving up into an area here. If these are reaching the ground, this is moving up into an area where there are a lot of trees, and we've seen enough what storms do up in this area. It's just a lot of big old trees in these neighborhoods: Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Belmead, Berry Hill, Lipscomb University, Green Hills area. So we don't want real strong winds up there, but it looks like that's what is moving. That's what's moving in. Getting some reports of some trees and lines down up around Old Hickory Boulevard and Dickerson Road. That's for a storm that came through earlier up there in northern Davidson County. So that sort of confirms that even outside of the warnings, outside of the heaviest storms, we can still get these really strong straight line winds that make their way down to the surface. And I'm a little bit concerned about these winds coming through Forest Hills. If you kind of let us know what you're seeing out there, that would be really great. Watching for some reports. Winds howling in Donaldson, Opryland, getting some rain. All right. So if you see some damage, let us know what you're seeing, and that'd be fantastic. So you're looking at radar image there from Forest Hills, Otter Creek, Percy Warner, Edwin Warner, Temple Hills, Laurelbrook, Grassland. And radar is indicating about 900 feet above the ground, there could be hurricane force winds there. at 75 miles per hour. Okay, so probably likely not that strong there at the surface, but I would expect the winds are howling pretty good there in Forest Hills up and down Hillsborough Road. All right, let's back out just a little bit. Let's talk about what we are. Well, actually, no. Let me go over to the north camera there in Oak Hill. Things have changed pretty fast there. The storm has arrived there in Oak Hill. This is right along Franklin Road, and you see my hackberry tree there to the left of the building, and it's swaying pretty good. And that's a big old tree, and that thing can. It's taking some strong winds, but it's a good indication of what we might be seeing out there. Let me go over to the south camera and look at that also, and just kind of see what we're seeing there. There's the south camera. Not as easy to tell how strong the winds are blowing, but that's looking south. Over across Franklin Road in Oak Hill. So let's go back over to the north camera and we kind of get an idea of how strong the winds are blowing. We'll check in with that some more, and we will. I'll be watching that camera off screen. Let's go back over to radar. Let's make sure there's no rotation here west of Franklin, and I'm not seeing any. So really the biggest threat, it appears, with this cell that's coming through western Davidson and southern Davidson, western Williamson, or northern Williamson, I should say, is going to be these strong straight line winds coming through Forest Hills. But we're going to watch it. Things can change pretty rapidly, especially on a day like today. But at the moment, it looks like it's a straight line wind threat coming through Davidson County. And we've certainly had those before. Okay, let's go back and look at the Hickman County storm. This is a storm that actually is. This is a storm that actually is why we are here on Facebook or YouTube Live. Guys, I got a little bit of sleep last night. Maybe not enough, as much as I should have. We're here on YouTube Live because of the severe thunderstorm warning down to the southwest of us, and it covers the southwestern part of Williamson County, and that's going to be south of Fairview, west of Leapers Fork. So it looks like we have a tornado warning now coming for Williamson County, and we're going to wait for that polygon to show up. And new tornado warning now for Williamson County that includes Fairview. It includes western Williamson County. So, all right, guys, time to pay attention to this as this storm now comes into Williamson County. So we're going to have a red polygon pop up here on the radar here in just a second. There it is. And this is going to be a tornado warning now for western Williamson County. And this is going to be for Fairview. This is going to be west of Franklin toward Leapers Fork, Boston, Smarden, Pinewood Road, Greenbrier, Craigfield, the Highway 100 exit on 840. So out in areas like that. All right, you can see on the radar here where that is. I'm going to turn the radar off, and you can see where the red polygon is in western Williamson County. All right, so what do you need to do? If you're in Fairview, if you're in Leapers Fork, and if you are in western Williamson County, west of Leapers Fork, you need to take cover. Now, look, it's 1 o'clock, coming up on 1 o'clock. Williamson County typically does their tornado siren test at this exact time on the first Saturday of the month, and it's the first Saturday of the month. If you hear tornado sirens outside, it is not a test, okay? It's kind of unfortunate this is coming through at the exact moment that a test would typically happen. They canceled the test for today, but if you hear sirens, do not discount them. This is a tornado warning for western Williamson County from Leapers Fork back to the west. All right, let's go over and look at velocities here, and let's see what we're looking at. It looks like there's some rotation there south of Nunley, north of Centerville. This is on the north side of Centerville, and that's going to be moving east. That's going to be approaching areas south of Wrigley or around Wrigley, and then coming into Williamson County. Just a second here. Let me get velocities on. It's going to be approaching areas like Greenbrier, Craigfield, the Highway 100 exit, South Harpeth and Old Highway 96, Garrison Springs, Pinewood Road, Boston, Smarden, Greenbrier, Kingfield, Fernvale. and Fairview. All right, so if you're in those areas, it's time to take your tornado precautions now. It's time to do them right now. Don't wait. All right, so that would be your lowest level of your home. If you were in a mobile home, you need to take shelter somewhere else, and you need to do it right now. Don't wait on it. You need to do it right now. You don't need to be in a mobile home. You need to have plans immediately to get to a safer place. So lowest level of your home, a sturdy home, interior room, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You need to put on shoes and put a helmet on the kids, at least on the kids. But you need to be wearing shoes and a helmet. So don't be in a car. Don't be driving on 840. If you know somebody on 840 that may be driving on 840, call them, get off the road. They need to get into a sturdy structure. And they certainly don't need to take shelter under some of the bridges there along 840. That has been proven to be a bad idea. So those are some things to remember. This storm is moving northeast at about... it's moving northeast at about 70 miles an hour. Okay, so you're not going to have a lot of time. So those of you in Fairview, Leapers Fort, Boston, Smarten, and those Greenbrier, Craigfield, areas like that, y'all need to be in your safe place quickly. All right, do whatever you need to do to make that happen fast. Okay, so tornado warning continues for western Williamson County. Now, those of you that are just joining us, let me zoom out a little bit, and you can kind of see who's in and who's out of this warning. Okay, so let me turn the radar off for just a second, and you can see, in fact, I'm even going to turn off the severe thunderstorm warning just for a second. Okay, so here's your red polygon. This is the tornado warning from Fairview down to Leapers Fork, Boston, and Smarten, Greenbrier, and Pinewood Road. All right, those areas like that are where this polygon is. If you are not in this polygon, you are not included in this tornado warning right now. But you may be later, all right? So stay connected. Just because you're not in it now doesn't mean you won't be, okay? Stay connected. Davidson County is not included in this warning currently, but things could change. Let's turn the radar back on. And again, let me say this again. Some of you, if you live in Williamson County, you know that the sirens are normally tested on the first Saturday of the month at 1 o'clock, exactly at this moment. But if you hear them right now, it's not a test. This is a tornado warning for western Williamson County from Fairview, Smarten, Greenbrier, Craigfield, areas like that. Okay, real quickly, let's go and look at the storm up in Davidson County. There's not a warning on this, but winds at about 550 feet are still reading at about 60 miles per hour. So the winds are blowing at about 60 miles per hour up in parts of Davidson County up at about 500 feet. All right, so that is pretty strong winds up there as that rain comes through. And let's go back over and look at the... Let's go look at the Oak Hill cameras again real quick. Just a quick check-in. Okay, this is Oak Hill looking north. This is looking back toward downtown. It looks like the wind's blowing, but it doesn't look like it's quite as crazy as it was maybe at one point, but that could be coming in waves a little bit. All right, there's looking down to the south in Oak Hill. All right, definitely blowing. Okay, let's go back to radar. Again, tornado warning continues for the western part of Williamson County. It looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for Davidson, Macon, Rutherford, and that's going to be up on this storm that is in Davidson County currently that we were just talking about. So that polygon will show up here in just a minute. But it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that covers this line, and there it is right there. It looks like it covers this line down to Franklin. And so the line from east of downtown up to Hermitage, Percy Priest, B&A, Creve Hall, Antioch, Brentwood, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning with winds that could gust up in the 60-mile-per-hour range there from Brentwood, B&A, Antioch, Creve Hall, Percy Priest, Lake, Hermitage. All right, so that's a severe thunderstorm warning there. Our primary focus at the moment is this tornado warning back to the west that is currently I'm going to turn on a couple of different things here. I know you can't see all this, but I want to check some data here. The good news is I have not seen a debris signature. Have you, Elon? You haven't seen any I haven't seen any debris signatures with this yet. Yeah, I'm not seeing any debris signatures. So hopefully the thing is not going to touch down. But anyway, tornado warning does continue there for eastern Hickman County and western Williamson County. There in and that's in effect until 1:30. Okay. Thank you for joining us, guys. A lot of you have joined in the past few minutes, so let me do a little reset here and just kind of let you know what's going on. So let me turn the radar off, and yeah, the other guys are saying they're not seeing any debris signatures either. So that's a good thing. Let me turn the radar off here. In fact, let me take it full. And the radar here will show that that we are under 3 different polygons, all right? So we're under 2 severe thunderstorm warnings and 1 tornado warning. The newest severe thunderstorm warning covers from about Lakewood down to Hermitage, Donaldson, B&A, Creve Hall, Forest Hills, Brentwood, almost down to Cool Springs. Really the north parts of Cool Springs. Okay, Antioch, Cane Ridge, Percy Priest, Hermitage. All right, so those areas are under a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell here. That is not a tornado warning, and in fact, the rotation is not currently impressive, but the straight line wind threat is there. All right, back to the west, we are under a tornado warning from Fairview, Leapers Fork, Boston, Garrison Springs, Smarden, Pinewood Road, Craigfield. Some of those places you may have been around here a long time and never heard of. They're beautiful places, beautiful part of the county. But those folks are under a tornado warning all the way up to Fairview. This includes almost all of Fairview, okay? And that is in effect until 1:30, okay? It's currently 1:05, just turned 1:06. All right, so 1:30 is the expiration time on the tornado warning. All right, let me say this. If you are not currently under a warning, that doesn't mean that you won't be under a warning. So stay connected. Don't disconnect and go somewhere else just because you're in Franklin and you're not inside a polygon. All right, stay connected and watch the storm back to the west. That could the no warning situation for you could change, and you'll be under a polygon pretty quickly. Okay. All right, those of you up in Goodlettsville, y'all had some rough weather a little bit ago. Things are pretty clear from Beeman Park, Joelton, Fontanelle, Bakers, Luton's, Goodlettsville, Bells Bend. Not a lot going on right now. The focus now is in eastern Davidson County and western Williamson County. And really, this looks to be the line, okay? So this looks to be the line coming through. We're going to have to kind of watch and see if this changes, but it looks like now that this is sort of the main line. All right, so maybe that's good news, and if this thing will get on out of here, that'd be great. We have one cell down here south of Columbia we're going to have to watch, see if that makes a run for College Grove, Bethesda, out toward Flat Creek. But currently it is not severe. But we're going to have to keep an eye on it because this cell's kind of out by itself, all right? So that's the kind of stuff we're watching. All right, the storm around Wrigley does not look as impressive right now, I got to say. So velocities seem to have decoupled a little bit, kind of going back in time there. And you can see how velocities there looked. Let me turn on this view. They looked a little bit more impressive. You had the reds and the greens a little bit closer together there. And as time has gone on, the velocities seem to have come down a little bit. So we're not letting our guard down yet. But maybe that trend is good. Okay. But regardless, still tornado warning in effect for western Williamson County. All right, and I've had some friends text me and ask and say they heard tornado sirens. Was it a test? No. The tests were canceled today in Williamson County, so those were real deals. They just happened it just happened to be issued around 1 o'clock, all right, when the test would usually happen. Okay, let's back out just a little bit. We are still under a tornado warning there in western Williamson County. Eastern Davidson County has that severe thunderstorm warning on it. Now, the straight line winds don't look as impressive there as they did. as things have gotten closer to the radar site, it appears that the straight line winds have come down in the 35 to 40 range. Now that's just one radar's read on that, and let's a quick check of TVNA. Let's see if that's not at a great angle, but that could possibly be the case. Maybe some strong winds in eastern Davidson County there, but it could be possible that those have come down some. They're in eastern Davidson County, but we're going to see. We'll see. Hey, if you could send us some reports, that would be great. If you're experiencing strong winds that are producing damage, if you can do so from a safe position, if you could tweet us using hashtag TSpotter. I can't talk, Elon. Hashtag TSpotter, and that would be great. We'll get those reports over to the Weather Service if you're seeing damage. And seeing quite a few people that are experiencing the strong winds as this comes through. So whether you are under a warning or not, it looks like the winds are pretty zippy as your storms come through over you. Let me check and see what David is tweeting over on Twitter. Yeah, David actually brings up a good point here, as he does quite a bit actually. The storm there in Hickman County could be cycling. Okay, so even though the rotation has come down, David brings up a good point that the storm could be cycling, and that happens if a storm tornadoes once, the chances of it doing it again are higher. And we saw that back on December, 10th or 11th. The storms that did drop a tornado dropped them several times. And that's one of the reasons why our tornado counts were so high that night, was because storms would just drop them over and over again. So we got to keep an eye on it. Just because it's weakening, the velocities may be weakening some, does not mean that we can let our guard down. We got to keep an eye on it. So storm is just about to enter Williamson County right now, on the western side, and we'll see what it does once it gets into Williamson County. So for now, though, a tornado warning continues there for Fairview, Leapers Fork, Smarden, Craigfield. Here's Craigfield right there on the western side near the Highway 100 exit, the western side of Williamson County, Bradford Road, Barnhill Road, just kind of calling out some of the names here, Valley Road, Caney. Was that Caney Fork Road? Yep, sure was. They're south of Fairview High School. So those are some of the roads out there in western Williamson County. Lampley Road that you may recognize, and Younger Creek Road. So those are some of the areas that are going to get this strong storm as it comes in. It's currently tornado warned, and that is until 1:30. It's 1:12 right now, and the warning's in effect until 1:30. So there are a couple of options with this cell. In fact, actually, they just took one of the options. The tornado warning now is canceled for Williamson County, and the polygon will disappear here in just a second. Okay, so the tornado warning, which is not surprising to me that they canceled this, because it really has come down in intensity as far as the velocities go. The red polygon there should disappear in just a second for Williamson County. So we are now under no tornado warnings, but we are under 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one for generally the same area of southwestern Williamson County, and then up here in eastern Davidson County, still a severe thunderstorm warning remains. All right, so and that's in effect till 1:45. So we're here for another 30 minutes with that polygon, and here for let's see, for this other one down here, it remains in effect till 1:30. So about another 15, 16 minutes on that one. All right, these velocities down here are no good. This is a radar anomaly, and you just kind of have to learn what to look for with radar velocities. What's good and what's bad data. That's bad data right there. So don't, we're not too concerned about the reds and the greens, right, or reds and the blues and all that kind of stuff right there. That's a radar anomaly. Okay, so it looks like that trend of weakening continues there for that storm coming into western Williamson County right now. Now, radar may be having a hard time reading this, but Elon, the velocities have come down quite a bit in eastern Davidson County here in the last little bit. And it looks like they're from Nolansville Pike, Antioch, Hickory Hollow, Nashboro Golf Club, Percy Priest Lake, Seven Oaks, areas like that. I'm having a hard time seeing winds over 35, 40 miles per hour. Now, that's strong, but I'm hoping that maybe those strongest winds stayed aloft, and as the winds have gotten closer to the radar, they're not as strong down at the surface. But we are seeing some some reports of some tree limbs down and stuff like that as the storms come through. So still some gusty winds, but let's hope that all that stays below severe limits at the ground level. But for now, we do have those 2 polygons though for eastern Davidson, northern Williamson, and southwestern Williamson. So that's the situation. Let's zoom out just a little bit, and let's see where we are. So it's 1:15 on New Year's Day, and we're dealing with severe weather coming through here in Davidson and Williamson counties. And it looks like we have 2 situations here that we're particularly watching. One is in eastern Davidson County, and one is down here in western Williamson County. And these are severe thunderstorm warnings. So we had a tornado warning in effect earlier. That has since been canceled. It didn't expire. It didn't get extended. The thing was canceled early. And that's because this storm down here in Williamson County, essentially on the velocities, just fell apart. So what we're having a hard time with today, to our advantage, is finding enough potential energy to really fuel the storm. So there's plenty of shear out there. There's plenty of some of the ingredients out there, but we're having a difficult time mustering up a really robust storm that just keeps going and going. That's fine with me. That's great. But the winds certainly are screaming right above our heads, and this rain can bring that down to the surface and can make for some really gusty winds as these storms come through. So 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect because of that. And that's going to be over from, looks like the strongest wind now about to get onto Percy Priest Lakes, going right through the neighborhoods over there around Nashboro Golf Club, Anderson Road, all the way down to Hamilton Church Road, Smith Springs area, and Una. So really strong downpours there. I would expect this would be where the strongest winds are over there as that wind gets pulled down to the surface. They're just west of Percy Priest Lake. So those neighborhoods around there, Antioch over to the lake, could definitely be seeing some gusty winds right over up to the Hobson Pike Bridge here in just a few minutes. All right, so you may have been tempted to be out on Percy Priest today, but I hope you're not. Lake can be pretty rough on a windy day like this. So, but don't get caught out in this at all. Okay, let's look at the western storm here. This thing, let me go back in time here. This thing doesn't look nearly as impressive as it did. It has come down quite a bit in intensity. It looks like from the Tennessee River area, and it looks like just a heavy rainstorm right now. I'm not seeing anything really concerning on velocities here. Elin, what do you think? I'm not. I mean, this is all inflow here. This is not really a good measurement of wind. So here in the precipitation, we're just really not seeing anything crazy concerning right now. So, all right. Well, I'm getting reports here. Seems like we're getting reports that tornado sirens are going off in Davidson County over toward Lenox Village. There is no tornado warning in effect for Davidson County. So there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a cell over Percy Priest Lake, but there is no tornado warning in effect for Davidson County. All right, so it looks like I'll have to say that for a few times here for a while. But there are no tornado warnings in effect for Davidson County. I'm watching the replies to see kind of where that's occurring. Looks like Lenox Village, Barnes and Nolansville, Bradford Hills, places like that. Okay, so no tornado warnings in effect for Davidson County. In fact, no tornado warnings in effect for either one of our two counties. The only tornado warning we had was western Williamson County, and that was from like Leapers Fort back to the west, but that has since been canceled and gone away. Now, keep in mind also that our tornado sirens in this area often sound a lot like fire engines, okay? So I'm not saying that's what that was, but it can be a little bit hard to distinguish sometimes between fire engines and tornado sirens because of the tone we use around here. So, but if that is a tornado siren, it shouldn't be going off. There's no tornado warning in effect right now. So 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. South of Fairview is one of them, and it looks unimpressive on radar south of Fairview. I mean, this is about as unimpressive as it gets on a radar presentation, unless I'm missing something. But that's pretty unimpressive. I'm gonna check another radar here. Yeah, let's look at TB&A. Here's TB&A. I mean, it looks clean as a whistle out there. South of Fairview. So we're going to keep an eye on that, but it doesn't look like that's strengthening by any stretch of the imagination. The other storm is up here in Davidson County. Let's take TB&A up there. And not seeing anything too crazy there except for one little spot I'm going to look at over on a different radar. So let's go see if that is anything. I don't think it is, but let's just see. Over there south of I-40. So watching a little area over here just south of I-40. That's going to be over near Old Hickory Boulevard. That's going to be up near right there just up the lake from the dam at Percy Priest. Maybe a small area of rotation there, but it's certainly not impressive on the Weather Service's radar. So we can watch it, but I'm not super concerned about it at this minute. Yeah, in fact, I think it's actually not even as a real part of the storm. So, okay, so that's good news. Let's back out a little bit. And we have somebody that has sent in a report saying that it was a fire truck near Lenox Village. So that's good. So the tornado sirens may not have been going off in Davidson County. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the tone that we use around here on our sirens because they sound like fire trucks. But that's just me. And this is why. Because sometimes we don't understand if it's a fire truck or a siren. So one report somebody just sent in says it was a fire truck. So that would be great if that's what that was. All right, so eastern Davidson County still under a severe thunderstorm warning here. Looks like the Weather Service is going to drop the Williamson warning. So all in all, we're looking pretty good. David said over on Twitter that I don't see anything on radar giving me heartburn. And so that's good. I agree with that. And so we're looking pretty good all in all right now. Elin, am I missing anything? Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good in our two counties at the moment. So we still have these two polygons here. The northern one expires at 1:45, so that's about another 20 minutes. The Weather Service has indicated they're planning on dropping the Williamson warning here soon, and that would be in effect until 1:30 if they don't drop it. But it sounds like they're going to drop that one early because it's really not impressive, and the storm is moving out of the polygon anyway. So we'll see what they do there. So really our only area of concern is up here in eastern Davidson, but that's a stretch. The storm's moving out of the county anyway. Somebody just asked if they can go back to sleep. I know it's kind of, to me, that's kind of funny. You may work nights, so you may be totally serious, but it seems like these things always come through at night, and that's a question that we're constantly asking. But we need to wait a little while for an all clear, but things are generally looking positive at the moment. So I'm not seeing anything that gives me too much heartburn. Tell you what, let's do, Elin. Let's see if we can, see if I can do something here. Let's go look at some reports. Looks like maybe a little bit of wind damage on a shed there. Very minor damage in Hendersonville, some wind. So, a tree uprooted there in Madison. Maybe some trees down along Del Rio Pike in Williamson County over toward Franklin. But those are some of the reports we're looking at over on Twitter. So I'm encouraged at the moment. This is good. Yeah, David, great tweet. Those of you in Nashville with anxiety, it's time to exhale. All right. Still seeing nothing of concern here in Williamson County on that storm. This is Highway 96, Highway 100, Natchez Trace Bridge down to Kingfield. And not really, there is nothing concerning in there. The storm has moved out of the warning polygon, so that should go away here pretty soon. It's the storm is outside the yellow box, so that should disappear. If they don't do it early, it'll go away in about 4 minutes. The warning up here in eastern Davidson County, really, I mean, we're just not seeing anything serious. The storm has moved into Wilson County, so maybe some serious stuff over there up into Trousdale and Macon counties. But honestly, we're in great shape here in Davidson for now. The only thing I would say is those of you in Williamson County, northern Williamson County, when you get this storm, that rain is going to bring down some pretty gusty winds, and they may not be severe, but they probably be pretty gusty. You'll hear that roar outside, just of the wind coming through the trees, but not seeing indications of it being severe at the moment. It's not very often that we're on a YouTube Live and we're not doing a lot of talking. So this is good. This is good. I'm fine sitting on here with you, but there's just not a lot to say. So, all right, the polygon over here from Brentwood to Hermitage, Donaldson, B&A, Percy Priest, Antioch. That storm has moved off into Wilson County. All right, so the Weather Service may shore this warning up and take Davidson County and Williams County out of it. We'll see if they do. But the storm has moved off into Wilson County, so not worried about that. One single bit for Davidson. The only thing we're watching is is this cell here, Natchez Trace Bridge area in Pasco. It's like between warning polygons, but it currently is not considered severe, and I'm not seeing anything on it that warrants it being severe. I mean, it looks pretty tame at the moment. Let me go over to TB&A and kind of look at it from there. And yeah, I mean, looks great. So we'll see if that changes, but nothing yet. Let's do this. And go over to our other radar software. We haven't done a countdown in a while. There's our 30-second countdown of the polygon in southwestern Williamson County. So you counted down to midnight last night. You can count down for the expiration, or to the expiration of this warning polygon in western Williamson County. So I'll let you do that. Looks like Weather Service is issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be over to our east. That will not include us. So for now, this western polygon is going to go away in 2 seconds. 1, and goodbye. All right, so we're just left with this one, but guys, that storm has moved off to the east. All right, so typically the Weather Service will shore these warnings up, but for now the polygon is basically empty there in Davidson and Williamson counties. Somebody just said that the winds picked up pretty strong in this cell here in western Williamson. So the one we've been watching, it was the one that actually had the tornado warning on it a long time ago, and it has weakened quite a bit. But it's still, like we've been saying, these heavy downpours will bring down the winds that are just screaming above our heads, and so the heavy rains will bring those winds down to the surface. All right. So if you live in Bellevue or Pasco or Grassland or Forest Hills, Belmead, and you've already had a couple of these today, when this cell comes through, it may not be severe, but it's going to blow pretty hard. And that's just because of that rain bringing down those heavy winds to the surface that are up above our heads. We like for the wind to stay above our heads and not at the surface, but sometimes these winds will bring those down to the surface and be pretty gusty. All right, so getting some real heavy rain there in Grassland, Battlewood Estates, Fieldstone Farms, Bellevue, Pasco, Eagle Ridge, Forest Hills, areas like that. All right, so that's going to be moving off to the northeast, and that's going to be moving into Belmead, Brentwood, and areas basically south of downtown Nashville. So that's going to be areas like Oak Hill, Creve Hall, over toward Ellington and the Zoo, B&A, Antioch, Cane Ridge, areas like that. So we've crossed a big threshold here that those of you that have followed Nashville severe weather for a while, you know when David brings the jokes back out that it's things are sort of looking better. So David's brought the jokes back out over on Twitter. So I think we can all feel better about the day. Let's back out. I don't want to miss any. This is one of those days I just don't want to miss anything. The storms up here that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson and northern Williamson are gone. They are east of us now. So the polygon here that includes our two counties is basically empty and has not much going on. There's a cell back here that's moving into it, but it's maybe some straight line winds, some gusts that are sub-severe, but we're not seeing anything at least indicated on radar that is looking severe. All right, so that's good. Okay, we're going back over to our other radar here, and I mean just the slightest bit of weak rotation. I mean, normally wouldn't even mention this around Scales and Granny White Park, Holly Tree Farms. I mean, it's really weak right now. All right, I'm not concerned about that at the moment. All right, so this thing's just kind of a frog strangler. All right. Let's go check out the Oak Hill camera and just see how this thing looks. All right, here's the Oak Hill South camera. So you're looking essentially right into this cell. You're looking southwest. On the other side of, you see all those power lines, big power poles there. That's Franklin Road, Franklin Pike there between, that's between Harding Place and Old Hickory Boulevard. And you're looking southwest, so Radnor Lake would be behind those hills there. Nestled back down in there, and that's where Radnor Lake is. So that's kind of the direction you're looking from Franklin Road. So like if you're in Creve Hall, this is looking to the southwest of you. So this is what you'll be getting as this comes in. So, it doesn't look too ominous there to me. Not seeing anything spinning, not seeing anything really crazy. So we'll keep an eye on that, but for now, so far so good. All right, getting some new radar images here. Let's go over and look at reflectivity. And again, I'm just not seeing anything impressive. I'm looking at different radar products here. I'm leaving the radar up just so you can kind of see as the storm moves your direction, you can kind of see where you are in relation to it. But I'm looking at different radar products here off screen, and just, make sure nothing kind of perks up and starts strengthening, and just haven't seen that yet. Could be some pretty strong gusty winds approaching I-65. And here's a City of Brentwood camera there at Moores Lane and 65. We'll kind of watch that and see how strong the winds are as they cross. But it doesn't look like these are severe. I'm trying to find a couple of other cameras here. Here is actually in the city of Brentwood. You can see the rain crossing Franklin Road and crossing the interstate. So you can kind of see, if you look right above the red light there on the horizon, you see the WSM tower. So you can see the rain crossing I-65 as that storm comes in. This is a city of Brentwood camera. And this is back over to the camera at Moores Lane and 65. And it's blowing pretty hard. And actually, we're seeing the rain now cross the interstate. Look at that. So there's your rain crossing I-65 now. Look at that. So raining very heavily now. They're just north of this exit. This is the Moores Lane exit at I-65, looking up toward Concord Road. And definitely some strong winds and some heavy rain there crossing I-65. So we're going to watch this just a second. Another City of Brentwood camera here. This is Maryland Way and Granny White, so heavy rain moving in there. The winds don't look all that crazy. It kind of reflects what we're seeing on radar. Now, up off the ground here, the camera's shaking pretty good, and the raindrops are blowing across the screen, but, it just doesn't seem too crazy strong. All right, let's go back over to radar, and let me check in with the Weather Service here. See what they're saying. They're seeing some rotation down in Lawrence and Bedford counties. That's down to our south. So that's going to be down for down in the areas in these cells down here. This was a storm earlier that we were watching to see if it would make a run for College Grove. It has missed College Grove and is now over into Rutherford and Bedford counties. So that's a good sign for us. Okay, this warning is still in effect up here for Davidson and Williamson, but guys, it's in effect till 1:45. And I don't think they're really shoring up the warnings, which is fine, but it just it looks like this polygon's going to run its course and expire at 1:45, so that would be in about 5-6 minutes. So, and then this polygon will disappear and we'll be out from under the gun as far as warnings go. But the storms that prompted that polygon are out of here. They're like over in East Wilson County and up into Carthage and Lafayette and Salina, areas like that. So those storms are way out of here that prompted that particular warning, but the box still remains. And honestly, I just kind of like sitting here with you, and we're gonna just kind of look and see what the storms look like as it comes through, and maybe that helps some of you who are might be a little bit concerned about what's going on. We're glad to kind of walk you through it. The storm that's coming through Brentwood right now is just weak sauce. I mean, it is just way less impressive than it was even in western Williamson County. So let's back up in time here, and you can kind of see back when these things had, actually the storm that had the tornado warning with it completely fell apart. And then we had another tornado warning there for Williamson County and for Hickman County. And as that moved east, that fell apart. And now it is in Brentwood, and the thing looks just ridiculously weak. So we seem to be in pretty good shape here. All right, let's go over here. Let's back out a little bit. So we got some storms down here around southern Middle Tennessee, Tullahoma, Columbia, but not impressive. Three minutes left on our warning. Just going to let y'all listen to my notifications for a while. This is David and Will. We've been talking back and forth. Hey, thank y'all for the reports today. This has been, it's so helpful. It's so helpful to have you on the other end of this where you can send us reports, things that you're seeing. This is why this works, is because you are able to send us reports of what you're seeing out there, damage, stuff like that. It is so helpful to have you there to be able to send us that stuff. So Will does a fantastic job of getting that over to the Weather Service quickly, and he's been sending them some of the reports of the more severe damage, which appear to be kind of tree and power line stuff, Elin, right? It's just, and some of that occurred even outside of the main cells, and was just part of the what we call gradient winds, the 40-mile-per-hour winds that we've had today outside of the storms, and some of it was storm damage as well. But right now we're just not seeing anything concerning whatsoever. Let's zoom on into like B&A, Berry Hill, Oak Hill. See some heavy rain coming through there. Trevecca, Shelby Park, Donaldson, down to Antioch, but that's really about it. These are just showers down here to Kingfield, Franklin, Nolansville. So up toward, there's Clovercroft Road there, a little shower there, down to Greenbrier where you guys had a tornado warning earlier. But but things are in much better shape now. Let's see, this thing expires, what was it, 1:45? That's right. All right, coming up here in just a minute or two. Let's see. Somebody asked over on Twitter, asked if they could leave their safe place in eastern Williamson and south Nolansville. Yes. Now, you were never under a tornado warning, so the only people in our area that were under a tornado warning was in western Williamson County, out toward like west of Leapers Fork. Okay, so those of you in eastern Williamson County were never under a tornado warning, but certainly if you felt safe in doing so and being there, that's totally cool. But you can come out. Yes. Let me show you up here on the Gallatin camera. So I'm not sure we've looked at these. This is the camera in Gallatin. And it does look a little bit gnarly out there, but nothing too crazy. It's looking east. All right. This polygon disappears in 2 seconds, guys. Here we go. There it goes. We have no warnings in effect. None. No warnings in effect for our 2 counties. Well done, everybody. Let's go over to the Gallatin camera, though, real quick. Let's see. I think things are moving around pretty heavy because of the wind on this tower. Let's go see if we can see downtown Nashville. We may not be able to. A lot of showers going on. Yeah, normally you can see downtown Nashville from up here. It's a little bit fuzzy and the focus is having a hard time. There's a lot of rain between here and there. But that's kind of neat to play with. We're testing these cameras out and seeing how we like them. Okay, y'all. Well, here we go. No warnings in effect for Davidson or Williamson County. We have one lone cell down here in Antioch, right there. And that's like Oak Highlands, Antioch, areas like that. Over to 24. No big deal. No indication of anything crazy with it right now. Some gusty winds, and that's about it. Hey, if anything changes, of course, we'll let you know about it. So we are happy to... to let you know if anything changes. But right now, guys, this is weak. All right, not concerned about anything. You guys have a great rest of the day. Happy New Year to you guys. Really, Happy New Year. We're at 2022 now, and I can't believe we're already here. But here we are. All right. Y'all have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you later.